one of the things that I'm really excited about that we have this year. Our character artist has been nonstop. I worried about this girl's back because she has literally spent 10 hours a day bent over that.
How would you like to start a new career at the age of 58? A career that would take you all over the United States collecting old ashtrays. Well, Nikki Root has done that. Nikki's art can go in windows, on walls, and it's great if you have like something from your grandma that you want to memorialize, or you're not really going to use her dishes, but you want to still see it. Nikki's figured out a way to make that happen and make it look good. Welcome to Nikki's booth with Bottoms Up Glass. We are here with Nikki Root from Bottoms Up Glass, and we just would love to hear the story of how these colorful pieces came to be.
Well, it's really interesting. I have done stained glass for over 30 years. And 16 years ago, my mother had entrusted me with her mother's depression glass dishes.
Oh, wow.
And I never used them.
And
I know one day, and I didn't want my kids to touch them. They might break them.
Yes.
So one day, I noticed how dirty they were in the cupboard. I pulled them out, and as I was washing one bowl, I held it up to the window, and that's when I received inspiration to cut it up. And I thought, if it doesn't turn out, it's just going to be a dirty little secret. And
no one has to know.
Another one of those. Yeah. My mother. It'll be another little dirty secret from my mother. But anyway, it turned out great. And my mother ended up being one of my greatest fans.
Oh, that's so cool. Tell me about cutting glass. When I hear the word cut, I think scissors. You don't use scissors on glass, so
no.
How do you cut glass?
No, you have to. It has to be a wet cut, and it's got to be done with a glass cutter. You score it, which fractures the glass, and then you apply pressure, and it breaks, and it doesn't always cooperate.
I was just gonna say.
And that's why I have beautiful hands.
I really like this one here. So many different colors. Where do you find your pieces?
Mostly estate sales and antique stores.
So does that mean you're kind of combing Facebook for?
Facebook and anywhere I travel.
Oh.
I'm always going and looking. In fact, there's antique malls that they know me when they see me come in. It's a little embarrassing. And they'll say, "Oh, we've got some stuff for you over here." Yeah. And I have several that save cracked pieces and broken and chipped pieces that they can't sell.
Yeah.
They save them for me. It's just been a great source because I want to spend my time creating, not scouring. Mm-hmm. Now, if I walk past a yard sale, I do stop.
Walk us through this one. Like, you've got several different patterns here in the background.
The background, these are mostly new glass, just textured clear glass. This is antique glass that my nephew was renovating downtown Idaho Falls.
Oh, wow.
And this is a section of glass, and this and this. That was glass that was taken out of old office buildings.
Oh, interesting.
And I was able to purchase it from him.
Yeah.
So it was, yeah. The rest of it, these are new. Like this is a berry bowl.
Okay.
This is a carnival glass saucer. This is the bottom of a bowl. This is the bottom of a punch cup.
Oh, cool.
This is a little cup plate. These are miniature plates, saucers. This is from the 20s. This is a button and daisy pattern plate. Now this is the bottom of a Noxzema bottle.
Oh,
remember Noxzema, the
yes.
Jars? Okay.
I've only known them in plastic containers, but yeah, that
makes
sense.
Back in my day, they were in jars, and this is Vicks Vapor Rub.
No kidding.
The bottom of a jar there.
Wow.
This is the bottom of stemware.
Oh, yes, I can see there's a cut there. This would have been the glass coming forward.
And the frame is from an old salvage screen door. So I take the old wood and cut it and then make it the frames. Sometimes I use old window frames, but a lot of times I just cut up the wood.
Yeah.
and make them from that. Now this one, this is very unique because I've cut out, this is a serving dish. I've cut out the center and put an ashtray in the middle. And people, other artists, stained glass artists will come and they'll say, how do you do that? Because that's impossible to do.
Oh,
And I say, if I told you, I'd have to kill you.
that's right.
This is this is an antique medicine cabinet door. And this is all antique glass in here. This is an ashtray. These are pulls, drawer pulls and knobs sections. This is antique glass from downtown Idaho Falls. And I've made it, rather than just a design, it is to look like a bouquet of flowers.
Oh, yes.
And this would be, I've got hooks on the back. This would be great hanging on a wall or in a window.
This
Clear.
is one where she's saying it's all clear, but there's so many different textures and there's still a pattern to it. So it's simple and beautiful at the same time.
This is from an antique screen door. And I've incorporated geodes, ashtray, and beer bottle bottoms.
How do you get the geode to stick in there?
It's using lead. It's encased in lead.
Oh, okay.
So I can only use the really thin sliced ones. And this is in antique wood, and it's all clear with just a touch, just a hint of the light colors. Look at that gorgeous ashtray. The largest one I've ever done was for a mortuary. It was big. It was probably 10 to 12 feet tall and 4 to 5 feet wide.
Wow.
It was big. Had people actually use these as a window, but I don't recommend it. For one, because you've got high texture and dimension, it collects dust.
Oh, yeah.
And they aren't airtight.
Okay.
Like the sealed glass units that we have now, they are sealed. They are airtight.
Right.
But I've had people do it. They're great for interior transoms or windows.
Yeah, that would be pretty.
But for exterior ones, I don't recommend
Maybe not
it.
a great idea. A piece like this, how many hours do you put into this?
Now that's a good question. And it's actually impossible for me to say because I have time finding these dishes.
Oh, yeah.
And then once I get them, I cut them up. I cut the bottoms out and cut them. And then I sort them by shape and color. And then I start designing.
Wow.
And so it's not all in one step. But I can tell you it takes me 2 days, and we're talking 10 to 12-hour days to put this together.
To piece it. Mm-hmm. What is the welding material in the middle?
It's lead solder.
Okay.
So I use a stained glass method, but I have adapted it. I've created my own techniques for constructing with highly textured and abnormal glass items, let's say.
Yeah, okay.
And ashtrays. I never thought of ashtrays as being beautiful.
Yes.
Growing up, everybody had ashtrays in their homes. I never thought of them as being beautiful, but I do now. I love the
That's
ashtrays.
so interesting, a different point of view.
Yes.
Do they make it through the shipping process?
Usually.
Usually.
Actually, I used to hire out the packing. And I had breakage, and I ended up needing to fly. I did one that was like 6 feet tall and 4 feet wide. It was for a door on Lake Michigan.
Oh, wow.
And it broke, and it had like 16 cracks in it when it arrived.
Wow.
Yes, it was a heartbreak. So I actually had to fly out there.
Oh, my goodness.
In position, and on site, and I had to repair it.
Wow.
On site. Spent
Did it work
Memorial Day
okay?
weekend. It did.
Great.
I packed all of my tools in luggage and checked them, and everything got there.
Wow.
So I spent my Memorial Day weekend one time doing that. That was the most memorable. So after that, I started doing my own packing because I know exactly what they need and what supports them the best.
How do people display these pieces in their homes?
Okay, most typically they hang them in front of an existing window.
Okay.
So the light, they have their insulated window behind it and the light comes through. That's the most typical, but people hang them, I've had them suspend them over breakfast bars.
Oh, that would be cute.
I've had them angle them on shelves. I've had them put them on easels. I've even had them hang them on walls. And the first lady that said she was going to hang it on a wall, I said, send me a picture. And it was beautiful. And I have found the lighter pastel depression glass and clear, they do nicely on walls.
Oh, that's neat.
It intensifies the color a little bit.
Oh.
So I've started doing a lot of them that I make exclusively for walls or to stand on easels. I make little small ones that are made for easels.
Okay. In a day, like, what's the minimum amount of time to be able to be productive, I suppose?
If I can't work for at least 4 hours, I don't
do it.
Because by the time you get set up, and I'm working with acids and lead and things, and so I have to be dressed. I've got to have my ventilation, and I have everything, and so it takes me
just setup time,
right?
Quite a bit.
Just getting ready.
Okay.
Getting everything set up, and I don't have a pattern. I don't make a pattern. I just start creating. And sometimes the glass doesn't cooperate. And so the pattern changes and the design changes.
Oh,
and I just kind of go with it.
Yeah.
And sometimes it ends up being better than what I had originally envisioned.
Yeah. How many markets do you do in a year?
I only do 12 now. I've done the shows for 16 years, but I'm getting older, and so I'm cutting back and I'm just choosing and selecting which shows I want to do. So I'm down to 12. Actually, this is one of my favorite shows right here in Logan.
Why?
I like the atmosphere that they create. They give us nice space between the booths so you don't feel like you're cramped and crowded. They're easy to work with. The first show that I did was Summerfest here.
Oh, really?
And I was in a single booth, and I think I had maybe 10 or 12 pieces hanging around the outside of the booth.
And I think we've got 10 or 12 right here.
Yes, we have. I have expanded and grown, and my creations and designs have increased. I never run out of design ideas.
That's cool.
I just run out of time. I remember one time at 3 a.m, my husband came down to my studio and he said, "Are you coming to bed tonight?"
No. Where do you get your frames?
I do a lot of vintage markets because I'm using vintage dishes and vintage glass. So I buy windows and doors and screens. I buy all kinds of items. I've even purchased cabinets.
Oh, wow.
And cut them up and I use them for frames. I use the sections and pieces for the frames. And there was one door that didn't even fit in the back of our truck. So I had to cut it in half before we even loaded it. and I'm laughing and he's just going,
"What have you done this time?"
Yes. But he's such a good sport. He's retired, and it's just been such a wonderful thing for us to do together. We do the shows together. I totally depend on him for setup and takedown. I make them all myself, and he's off doing his thing. And then we do the shows together, and so it's kind of fun. Kind of romantic. Loading up the truck and hooking up the trailer and heading down the highway, I love creating. I have never been academically brilliant, but I have been creatively brilliant. Does that sound too braggadocious?
No.
But it's my thing, and it feeds me, and I have to be creating, or I don't feel fulfilled. Thank you.
Nikki, thank you so much for talking to me today.
I appreciate meeting you so much.